Good afternoon. I'm George Latimer, Westchester County Executive, and we're here at the Eastview Park location next to our famous Westchester County Trailway and right next to the Sawmill River Parkway. And I'm here with an all-star cast of people who have made Westchester County their life, their government of this county, and we're all here to honor Andrew O'Rourke, who served as Westchester County Executive, and we're going to honor him today by submitting legislation to the Board of Legislators that will rename our Westchester County Trailway, both the North and South County Trailway, in his permanent remembrance. I'm joined here by Ken Jenkins, who is our Deputy County Executive, Kathy O'Connor, Commissioner of our Westchester County Parks Department, Peter Tartaglia, our first Deputy Commissioner, is also with us here. We have with us Philip Gile, who's a former Deputy County Executive. He holds a current position in the Westchester County Board of Elections. Andrew O'Rourke II and Andrew O'Rourke III are with us here, along with the former County Executive's daughter, Alice O'Rourke. Full name will help in a second. And we're very happy to be able to make this naming a possibility for future generations of people that will come and enjoy this trailway. The practical element of what we're doing today is drafting legislation, submitting it to the Board of Legislators, and this is in recognition of Andrew O'Rourke, who served as Westchester County Executive from 1983 until 1997. He is the second longest tenured county executive, serving 15 years. Early in my county legislative career, I was a county legislator when he was the county executive. Previously, he served as a Yonkers City Councilman. He was a member of the Board of Legislators, was a chair of the Board of Legislators, and then in his post-county executive years served as a Court of Claims judge for the state of New York and then also a New York State Supreme Court judge. So his experience was legislative, was executive, and was judicial, which touches all of the three branches of government. During that period of time, his record in public office was exemplary. And as the current county executive, I look with great awe at the accomplishments of County Executive Andrew O'Rourke. He was the person, the vision, the people around him that completely renovated the Westchester County Center. It was about 50 years old at the time, 40 years ago, and it was his effort through referendum and then financial effort that modernized that center. He did the same thing in a dramatic way at the Westchester County Airport with the terminal building. These things, once again, need to be looked at, but the work that he did during his tenure in the 1980s and the 1990s set the platform for the county that we've become over those existing years. County Executive O'Rourke was, without question, one of the faces you would have if you had a Mount Rushmore of county executives. Ed McKaley and Aldo Bello, Andy O'Rourke, these are people whose contributions to this county are amazing. And even as I've had the good fortune to serve in this position for the last 7 years, I'm amazed at times when I look back at what Andy accomplished during those years. And he did it. He had the help of a supportive Board of Legislators, some of the chairs of those days, Ed Brady, John Hand, Steve Tenor, George Oros, also led the legislative body. I served on it. Our Commissioner of Emergency Services, Richard Wishney, who was here, also served on the Board of Legislators in those days. But the leadership on the ninth floor was what accomplished so much. And this trailway has an imprimatur of his work as well. The work that was done by County Executive Aldo Bello, by Yonkers Mayor Angelo Martinelli. They're both deeply involved in the South County Trailway portion of this. But in naming this trailway after County Executive Andrew O'Rourke, we're recognizing one of the singular accomplishments of his administration. And the people who ride on this roadway, which we were able to repair in the last couple of years to bring it up to proper speed, may not know how it came to pass. All they know is that this is now a great asset to this Westchester County government, and we hope this will be an asset in perpetuity. I'm going to ask some of our guests to say a few words. First, our Commissioner of Parks, who supervises these 50-plus facilities, Kathy O'Connor.
Thank you very much, George. It's my honor that as I'm Commissioner, this wonderful naming of this fabulous facility is happening. I had the pleasure of working. I've been with the county a long time. I've had the pleasure of working under County Executive Andrew O'Rourke, and he was, as County Executive Latimer has said, a true pioneer. He had the vision of what people really want while they're living in Westchester County, and whether it's the county center, the airport, or the North or South County Trailway. These are all fabulous facilities. Every few years we do a survey with the public. I know our department is fabulous, but it's nice to hear what the public is thinking. And every year, whenever we've done it, what comes out on top, not golf, not the pools, not the nature centers, but our trails. We have close to 200 miles of trails. North and South County Trailway, which will now hopefully become the Westchester County Trail, Andrew P. O'Rourke Westchester County Trail, is 36 miles. And then the Bronxford Parkway. We have trails all throughout Westchester County, and this is what the public loves doing. Doesn't cost anything. They put on a pair of sneakers or they get on a bike and they take off. So we're so happy to be part of this new movement. As always, the county executive, George Latimer, the deputy county executive, Ken Jenkins, and the board of legislators have been so supportive of the Parks Department for the last 7.5 years. And as I said, it's just a big honor to still be the commissioner while we're doing this renaming. So thank you very much. I love the fact that his family is here, son and grandson and daughter. And I'm looking at people, Roger Biaggi and Phil Gil. We've worked together a long time ago. So thank you very much for this honor. I'd like to just say thank you to our Director of Conservation, Mr. Jason Klein, and his staff who are getting everybody parked here, which is never easy. And of course, Peter Tartaglia, our first Deputy Commissioner, who I work very closely with. So thank you again, and congratulations to the family on this wonderful honor. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Kathy O'Connor. Let me repeat the introduction of Roger Biaggi, former Deputy County Executive, who served this county so well for so long. Roger, thank you for being here. We're also joined by State Assemblywoman Mary Jane Shimsky. We're in her district. Mary Jane, thank you. Pleasure to be here. We have with us members of the O'Rourke family, and I want each of them to say a few words. I try to imagine what it must be like for someone to come and remember a loved one from a personal level, but know that their legacy extended beyond just who that person was within the family. And I certainly want the O'Rourke family to know that the legacy of their father, grandfather, will remain in perpetuity here in Westchester County. But they knew him in a way that the rest of us didn't know him as a man and as a family member. So let me first ask his son, Andrew P. O'Rourke II, to share some of his thoughts. My friend, Andy.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, George. Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you, Deputy Directors. It's wonderful to be here. You know, my dad was a very important person to me. And I know he had a great love for this trail. I remember the day that he signed the contract to get this piece of property, and it was right across from my home in Yonkers. And I thought that it was a great opportunity, and I just wondered, but I wondered what was really going to happen with it. And he said, Andrew, he said, people can come there to recreation. He said, but it's also for somebody that wouldn't have transportation. At that time, they didn't have the extensive beeline that they have today. And he said people could ride to work or they can walk to work. And I thought that was just really a very incredible, thought at the time. And from my family, my sister that's not here, Aileen, my mother, I would like to thank George and everyone for thinking of my father. He was a great guy, kind of hard to live up to over the years, as my son could probably vouch for in a couple of minutes, and my sister also. And it was just an honor to be, around him and see the things. And he included me in everything. And I just want to say, like when the Beeline went on strike and Bonaccios were in the hotel negotiating with the unions, my dad brought me into the room. And I sat there and I saw, the mettle of the man, the things that he did, to include people. He always said, have a big tent and listen to all the people. You don't have to listen to everything that they say, but you've included them in part of the conversation. And I'm so glad to see some of the cast of characters, the small cast of characters that are here, which I have to say, I love you all. You are so important to him. And thank you very much.
I'm going to stay in the same generation next and ask his daughter, Alice O'Rourke, to join us, and then we'll go to his grandson, Alice.
Thank you, County Executive. My father believed in a couple of things, one of which was bipartisanship and reaching across the aisle to get things done. And I know he loved the thrill of that very, very much. And so I think the Trailways is just a wonderful example. It really took many generations of people reaching across the aisle to acquire the property, to put the pieces together, and then hopefully one day really soon to get it named after him. So another thing that he loved was seeing that Westchester County was a wonderful place to live, especially for families. And I think the Trailways, hits that as well. Just think about the families that have recreated here over the years and will in the decades to come, and that I know would make him very, very happy. And the third thing, as a fiscally responsible person, that he was to see that as much as possible the county was an affordable place for those families to live. And there's nothing more affordable than free. And so this is free for everyone. And I know that that would mean a great deal to him. So thank you all very much. I don't call you all a cast of characters. I call you the people who made my father, in addition to the people of Westchester County, love the job that he did while he was here. And it's great to see you all. And thank you very, very much, County Executive, for your support.
I'm proud to say the next generation of O'Rourke families are in Westchester County government. Andrew P. O'Rourke III is part of our team working out of the Department of Public Works and Transportation. We're very happy to have that tradition continue. And Andy, if you'd like to share a few words, please do.
Good afternoon, everyone. You'll forgive me, I don't quite have the eidetic memory of my counterparts, but I thank you all for being here and for coming out. And I would first like to thank the County Executive, George Latimer, of course, for being a champion of public works, transportation, and the initiatives that have led more citizens to being involved in prospering within the county. He's also been a major advocate for honoring his predecessors and all who have served Westchester County through its long and storied history. Now, my grandfather, Andrew P. O'Rourke, was born during the Great Depression. Now, he never knew his own father, who died when he was barely 2 years old, and he was raised by his legally blind mother, Helen, and his 4 older sisters in Hell's Kitchen, New York. Now, Helen managed to keep all of her children out of trouble and thrust them into programs to increase their chances of success. These were programs much like those spearheaded and expanded upon by our current county executive. Now, against the odds, my grandfather managed to make his way through school, he joined the military, and pursued his education. Now, thanks to the GI Bill, he was able to go to Fordham Law School, pursue his degree there, and he continued to practice law through his early political career. Now, as he described it, he fell into politics by accident. Some would call it fate. But upon returning his family to Yonkers, New York, from his posting at an Air Force base in New Jersey, he sought a community group to familiarize himself with his new friends and neighbors. Now, the next meeting just so happened to be a meeting of the local Republican Club. My grandfather, which you may not know, was a Roosevelt Democrat, having grown up on public assistance himself, but he decided to go to the meeting anyway. And thanks to his charisma, his agreeability, and of course his oratory fortitude, he soon was appointed chair, and that began his political career. Now, he climbed the ladder from the Yonkers City Council to the Westchester County Board of Legislators, and once again found himself appointed to a position. As chairman of the board, he would succeed Aldo Bello as the Westchester County Executive, and despite being appointed at first, he went on to win re-election 3 times before finally bowing out in 1997. My grandfather's means to relate to anyone, as well as his ability and willingness to reach across the political aisle when it was in the public's best interest, has garnered him near universal praise and acclaim. He realized that we were all neighbors, we were all in the same boat, and that we all ultimately wanted the same things, which are peace, progress, and prosperity. Now, he would often say something to both my father and I in our respective youths, and he'd say, "Andrew, life isn't a sprint, it's a marathon." Now, ever the lovers of history, him, myself, and my father, the reference wasn't lost upon us. it's not about getting there first, but about getting there, period. It's about the journey in and of itself, and that mantra is what this trail represents. It's a pathway from one place to another, beset with twists, turns, breaks, sights, and sounds. And we all may travel the path differently, but we are all on the path, and we will all get there eventually. Now, this trail is no different. It began life as a forest and then became a railway, and now, finally, a scenic trail, connecting our county to our northern neighbors and the greater New York State beyond. So, whenever you find yourself not knowing where you'll end up, please remember my grandfather's words. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon. So thank you to County Executive Latimer, all the public servants, past and present, that are currently here today to do the great work for the county and the people of the county and make us all proud. And thank you for all coming together to honor the legacy of my grandfather, former County Executive Andrew P. O'Rourke, a man who I believe truly lived up to the O'Rourke family motto of Serviendo Goberno, which means I govern by serving. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Andy. All of us in public office have basically two families. We have a family that we go home to at night, the people that we're related to, children, parents, siblings. But we also have a family of people who work with us every day in our public life. And whatever achievements any of us have, we owe to that family who are with us perhaps as much or more than our blood family at home. There was no one that I can think of that was closer to and did more for the advancement of the issues that County Executive Andy O'Rourke did than Phil Gilles. He served in a number of capacities as Deputy County Executive, and he has served subsequently in the Department of Social Services and in the Board of Elections and in other ways in public life. And he has been the linchpin in helping us put together this event so that we properly honor the man that he spent so many hours and days with. And Phil, it is really falls to you to help put some of these things in perspective in the life and the accomplishments of Andy O'Rourke. Phil?
First, I want to thank, of course, County Executive Latimer for doing this. We ran into each other a while back, and we talked about the possibility of the Trailway, and he said, "Sure, we got to do this." And then I think he got distracted a little bit by his run for some office he ran for, or still running for, and we. He said, "No, we got to get this done," and he is getting it done and putting it together. And on behalf of myself, Roger Biaggi, the true Deputy County Executive, Andy O'Rourke, and our Director of Legislative Affairs, Martha Furlong, we want to thank you for doing this for really in my case, my office dad. I lost my father a couple of years after going to work for Andy O'Rourke, and he became a very important part of my life after that, professionally and personally. But what many people didn't know, is that, I'm this 27-year-old brat, who just came up to the ninth floor, the sacred ninth floor, and I get assigned to work with Roger Biaggi, and Roger goes, "How would you like to go for a ride to Philadelphia?" So we end up in the Conrail offices in Philadelphia in 1984, I think it was, and there was still $500,000 apart in the deal. We made the deal, and then, as everybody's mentioned here before me, it took a long, long time there was something like over 30,000 individual parcels in the Old Putnam Railway right-of-way that had to be researched with title searches and everything else. And it took 8 or 9 years to finally finalize the deal. But as speakers before me have said, generations later, look at what we have. And it was all worth it. Even though at the time when I didn't even know what the Putnam right-of-way was at the time. I'm from Yonkers, the west side of Yonkers, and so I had to go look at it, and I go, why would we want to buy this? And and now I know, and I am very, very grateful again to County Executive Latimer, who is one of the, I think, finest examples of bipartisanship and nonpartisanship in Westchester County. Thank you.
I don't know what the Guinness Book of World Records for most number of deputy county executives together in one place at one time is. We're competitive today with Roger Biaggi, Phil Gilles, and our current deputy county executive, Ken Jenkins.
Well, this is a wonderful, wonderful day. And first, congratulations to the perseverance of the O'Rourke family, Phil Gilles, Phil Pepe, certainly Roger Biaggi, that came up and spoke with us about trying to make sure that everyone was recognized appropriately. But between the vision of County Executive Latimer, who always tells us when we talk about different things, not just results, not rhetoric, right? But beyond that, that we always try to work to get things accomplished and done for the people of Westchester. And Andrew P. O'Rourke, County Executive, showed everyone what it meant to work on projects to get them done for the betterment of everyone. I'm fortunate enough to live in the neighborhood in Yonkers, Runyon Heights, which had the Putnam Railway go through it. So I lived on the infamous other side of the tracks. There were no tracks there when we got there in Runyon Heights, but in Runyon Heights, there's two different sides of the community. Nepperham was the train station itself. And again, to be able to serve on the County Board of Legislators, eventually becoming the chair of the Board of Legislators while we were working on many of these items, trying to pull them together to get the southern part of the South County Trailway done, the part that was going through Yonkers, making sure the ones that went in front of Andrew O'Rourke's house, to be able to deal with all of those things, to get those things done. That's the testament of everyone working together. And the picture that I remember is certainly with all the living county executives, and 4 of them were there when we cut the ribbon, completing the Trailway. Mary Jane Shimsky was there with me as well, and certainly members that are here today were there as well to see that day when we made that happen. But we had all those parcels, Phil Gill will remember, to make sure that the people that had property next to the Trailway, in Yonkers specifically, and certainly in Greenburgh, had an opportunity to purchase those properties if they wanted to, and continue to do that work. But this is about today, about what we owe and the investments that we have to continue to make. And this is the kind of opportunity led by our county executive, George Latimer, and working with every member across the aisle, that to have this kind of opportunity to do this naming, we know our friends on the Board of Legislators are going to consider this legislation quickly and certainly adopt it, because there is no better testament to the work that was done by an individual with the kind of experience and tenacity and working across the aisles as Andrew P. O'Rourke did, to have this testament of the Westchester County Andrew P. O'Rourke Trailway be named. So again, congratulations to everyone in the hard work, everyone putting this together. But more importantly, we want to continue to recognize all of those folks that have done the particular work, and Andrew P. O'Rourke deserves this recognition because of the hard work he did for all the people of Westchester. We want to thank his daughter Alice, his son Andrew, and grandson Andrew for all of their continued work to make sure that that memory stays alive. And as County Executive Latimer says, we remember every last one of the county executives to be able to invest, look out for all the people of Westchester, and do the absolute best job they can to make sure that everyone had those 3 Ps that Andrew O'Rourke III talked about. So thanks again, and congratulations to everyone.
Now, as most of you who follow politics know, that there's always some ulterior motive in the things that you do. So we have a wonderful program here to honor the family and the memory of the works of Andy O'Rourke, but I make sure that I invite the state assemblywoman because she has access to grant money in Albany. And we want her to enjoy this moment so we can hit her up for money for this trailway. Assemblywoman Mary Jane Shimsky.
Thank you so much, George. Yeah, well, nothing like getting a little bit of pressure. But I thought it important to be here today because before I became a member of the State Assembly, I was a member of the County Board of Legislators for over 11 years. And so much of what my focus and the focus of many people on the board were at that time was making sure that our infrastructure got fixed. And there were few pieces of infrastructure as important and as in need of being fixed as not the southern part of the South County Trailway at that point, Ken, but the northern part of the South County Trailway. And George and Ken and the Parks Department, Department of Public Works, have been great partners, and we are at the point now where our entire trailway is exactly what we want it to be. And I can't think of a better person to name it after than Andrew O'Rourke. I've gotten to know Andrew Jr., Andrew II, in my travels in government the last decade or so. I never really did get to know his father, but I did get to know Herman Geist very well. Herman being the first chair of the Board of Legislators. And he was a big mentor to me my early years on the board. And he so often spoke very fondly of Andrew O'Rourke. And one of the thing he talked about him the most was, after dealing with certain right-wing movements to get rid of public amenities, he always used to talk about how Andrew O'Rourke was the spokesperson for how bipartisan making sure that services and amenities were available to all people of this county. And given how important the Trailway is to so many people, I appreciate the commissioner very much for her understanding and for her publicizing how important a facility the Trailway system is. And certainly in terms of public health, physical health, as we've gotten on the other side pretty much of the pandemic, we also know how important getting out in nature and getting exercise is to mental health as well. And to think that one of the biggest, most important facilities we have to take care of people's physical and mental health was envisioned decades ago by Andrew P. O'Rourke is plenty reason for naming this facility after him. So I'm glad to be here to see that the ball is getting rolling on this, and I wish everyone who rides or walks or skates on this fabulous facility good health, good luck, and take the name Andrew O'Rourke and use it as a beginning point to learn the history of Westchester County and how all of the things you enjoy about it started at some point or other because of a particular outstanding person, as is the case of Andrew O'Rourke here. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mary Jane. I think we have the ask letter in draft form. It'll be on your desk very shortly, my friend. Copied to Andrea Stewart Cousins. So in closing the ceremony, I think a little bit about my own father. And Andy, this may relate to you as well, since we're about the same age. I don't know if in your teens or 20s you ever got on the wrong side of your father. I got on the wrong side of my father a couple of times. And I didn't really appreciate my dad until I lost him. And then until years taught me what it was like to be a father myself and to have responsibilities as he once had when I was a young man in his home. And there's a dawning that comes on you that makes you truly appreciate them in their passage in a way that you really never did when you were there with them day to day, because you were just there with them every day. And the same can be true of the way I feel about Andrew P. O'Rourke, county executive. I was a young county legislator. I was in the other political party. Richard remembers those days. And I don't think I really appreciated who he was or what he had done. I recognized he was an estimable man. But with maturity and in his passage, it is clear to me the legacy of what he's accomplished. Phil, we had that conversation once. And now we're both here for me to be able to tell you how much I appreciate and understand what he did. And I think that's true for the other individuals who've served. We've named conference rooms after William Blakely, Herbert Gerlach, James Hopkins. These were all estimable men. Their names, unfortunately, are lost in the society of today. Guy Parisi and I remember them because we know their names. Edwin McCallion is on our office building. We're going to have a little recognition for him, 50 years now, since he left his position as county executive in a few weeks. And in due time, another county executive will receive the recognition they deserve. But when you're in the position, just like when you're a grown adult and you realize what Dad did, you appreciate him all the more. And I appreciate all the more what Andrew P. O'Rourke did as county executive, the accomplishments he's had. Many times I sit in the privacy of my office, or when I leave, if I leave late in the office, there's a photo gallery of all my predecessors in that lobby before I get into the elevator and go down. At some point, I'll be there too. And I look at each of them in their own day and the crises that they face. Herb Gerlach was county executive during the Second World War. What must that have been like? Ed McCallion had to deal with an exploding county population, new major corporations coming into the county, demand for housing. We have a demand now. The demand then must have been incredible. And the limited amount of resources that Andy O'Rourke had to face and how he had to address the needs of that day, and that he did. And he did successfully, and he had a successful tenure. So today, on a personal level, as all of us organizationally, we're paying a debt of gratitude. I do believe that there's an afterlife, and I do believe somewhere up there, Andy O'Rourke knows that we're doing this right now. He knows that the accomplishments of his career are being recognized by those that came after him, that his son and daughter, and I guess as a county executive, a spiritual son, that we're here to say thank you. Thank you, Dad, for what you did. And we want everybody to know that name, not to forget that name. And in this dedication, we will probably have a ceremony when we officially put out the material we have. We intend to remember and honor Aldo Bello and Angelo Martinelli as well for the work they did, particularly on the South County Trailway storyboards. So this is the beginning of a process that will have another recognition. And that recognition may come under another county executive, and I get to attend it. But whatever it is, let it be understood that we knew the value of the sacrifices that have been made to make Westchester County this county, and the work that Andrew O'Rourke did. And here today we pay homage to that man and his accomplishments. I'm George Latimer, Westchester County Executive. Thank you for watching. Have a wonderful day.